One of the most pacifist nations of the world, Japan, has announced it will embark on a military buildup of humongous proportions. It has announced that it will allocate $320 billion that would arm it with missiles capable of striking China and ready it for a sustained conflict. In this video, we decode what made Japan rethink its policy on military buildup and show of force, and what would this departure from its long-held belief of only limiting military infrastructure for self-defense would mean. But before that, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to One India. Today, Japan has approved a new national security strategy, one of the country's largest defense shakeups since World War II. This is a marked shift from the country's pacifist approach, which has dominated its political discourse for decades. Japan's military spending has been beefed up to counter threats from China and a heavily armed North Korea. The country's security officials have warned that China currently poses the greatest strategic challenge ever. The cabinet has approved 3 documents which outline the strategy shift: the National Security Strategy, the National Defense Program Guidelines, and the Mid-Term Defense Program. These moves will now ramp up Japan's security expenditure from 1% of GDP to NATO's standard of 2% of GDP by 2027. It will also make Japan the world's 3rd biggest military spender after the US and China based on current budgets. The most important change will be the acquisition of what Japan calls counter-strike capacity. This is the ability to strike other nations that may threaten Japan's safety. The approved documents warn that Japan's current missile interception systems are no longer sufficient. The country will now buy up to 500 US-made Tomahawk cruise missiles, which can reach a distance of 1,250 kilometers. Tokyo will also triple the number of military units equipped with ballistic missile interception capabilities. Under this new strategy, the country will increase its military presence in its southernmost islands to counter Beijing's threats. Other changes will include the reshaping of the military command. Japan's self-defense forces will be reorganized and placed under a newly appointed permanent joint command to respond more quickly to emergencies. By March 2024, Japan's military personnel will be permitted to use civilian ports and airports. But why has Japan decided for a military overhaul all of a sudden? Why is it literally giving up its pacifist approach that it adopted after Second World War? The answer to this lies in the current geopolitical flux and the volatile situation in Asia. Japan worries that Russia has set a precedent that will encourage China to attack Taiwan, thereby threatening nearby Japanese islands, disrupting supplies of advanced semiconductors and putting a potential stranglehold on sea lanes that supply Middle East oil. Japan believes that Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a serious violation of international law, and it needs to take a re-look at its own policies as far as attack and defense is concerned. It has warned Moscow of its military posturing and has called Moscow's proximity with China a strong security concern. This 5-year plan of militarizing Japan has the backing of at least 70% of respondents in a survey that was carried out to gauge public opinion about this aspect. Japanese PM Fumio Kishida has called this overhaul an urgent challenge in this severe security environment, and Japan's public largely seem to be backing this shift. Nevertheless, the changes could still prove controversial as the country's post-World War II constitution does not recognize the military and reduces it to nominal self-defense capabilities. Things will be more clear when more details are made public. These were the main reasons why Japan is perhaps junking its pacifist approach and is resorting to an exhausting military buildup. We hope you would like this new video. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe to One India channel and never miss an update.